Sophia had everything a girl could wish for. Wealthy parents, a luxurious mansion, designer clothes, the best education, and a future that seemed effortlessly paved with gold. Yet, beneath all the glamour, she felt a void. She admired her parents for their success, but deep down, she knew she didn't want to simply inherit their fortune. She wanted to build her own. While her friends shopped without looking at price tags and traveled the world during holidays, she found herself drawn to stories of self-made entrepreneurs. The idea of creating something from nothing thrilled her more than the comfort of her privileged life. One evening, after weeks of contemplating, she gathered the courage to speak to her parents. She found them in the grand living room, her father reading a business magazine while her mother sipped tea from a delicate porcelain cup.
Mom, Dad,
She began, her voice steady but firm.
I have something important to tell you.
Her father set down the magazine, intrigued. Her mother raised a curious eyebrow.
I'm grateful for everything you've given me. Truly, I am. But I don't want to depend on your wealth. I want to build my own life, my own success, without your financial support.
A silence fell over the room. The chandelier above cast a golden glow, but the tension made the atmosphere heavy. Her mother was the first to speak.
Darling, what are you saying? You don't need to struggle when we have more than enough to support you.
Her father leaned forward, his sharp business mind analyzing her words.
Do you realize how difficult that will be, Sophia? The world is harsh. Many fail before they succeed.
I know,
She admitted.
but I need to do this. I don't want to wake up one day and feel like I was handed everything. I want to earn my own success. Please, all I need is a simple apartment. Nothing else. No money, no investments, just a roof over my head.
Her parents exchanged a glance. Sophia knew what they were thinking. They admired her courage, but they feared for her. Her mother sighed, shaking her head.
We only want the best for you.
I know, Mom. And this is what's best for me.
A long pause. Then, her father exhaled deeply, nodding.
If this is truly what you want, we won't stop you. But remember, you can always come home if things get too hard.
Sophia smiled, determination burning in her eyes.
Thank you, but I won't turn back.
And just like that, she stepped away from the life of ease and into the unknown. A life where every penny would be earned, every success would be her own. She had no idea what lay ahead, but one thing was certain: she was ready to fight for her dream. The first few months of independence were exhilarating for Sophia. She moved into a modest one-bedroom apartment, a far cry from the luxuries she had known. No maids to cook for her, no chauffeurs to drive her around. It was just her, her dreams, and the reality of the world she had chosen. Her scholarship covered the first 2 years of university, but after that, she was on her own. She needed a plan. Fast. Determined not to return home defeated, she tapped into something she had always loved: fashion. With a small amount of money she had saved from odd jobs and birthday gifts, she bought a few stylish outfits in bulk and began selling them on campus. She set up an Instagram page, modeling the clothes herself, using creative captions to attract buyers. At first, the sales were slow. Some days, she made barely enough to eat. There were nights she stayed up wondering if she had made a mistake. But she refused to give up. Then things got worse. Her scholarship funds ran out sooner than expected due to additional school fees. Suddenly, she had to pay for tuition, books, and rent, on top of surviving day to day. There were moments of desperation. She ate instant noodles for weeks, skipped meals when necessary, and spent long nights studying by candlelight when she couldn't afford electricity. One cold evening, overwhelmed and exhausted, she broke down in tears. She sat on the floor of her tiny apartment, knees to her chest, staring at her dwindling bank balance.
Maybe I should just go back home.
The thought crossed her mind more than once. But every time she imagined returning to the comfort of her parents' wealth, she remembered why she left in the first place. She didn't want to be someone who quit when things got hard. She wiped her tears and stood up. If she was going to fail, she would at least fail fighting. She intensified her efforts. She studied business strategies online, experimented with better marketing techniques, and expanded her product line. Slowly, customers began to trust her brand. Sales picked up. What she didn't know was that her two most loyal and high-paying customers were actually her parents, purchasing anonymously just to make sure she never went completely broke. One day, she discovered the truth. She recognized a familiar address on a delivery order, her parents' home. Realizing what they had done, she confronted them.
"You've been secretly buying from me?"
She asked, her voice a mix of shock and frustration. Her father smiled.
"We weren't going to let you suffer too much."
Sophia shook her head, half laughing, half crying.
I love you both, but I need to do this on my own. No more secret purchases.
Reluctantly, they agreed. From that moment, Sophia was truly on her own. But she had proven to herself that she could survive. No matter how tough it got, she had what it took to fight through. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of something much bigger. Sophia stood in front of the small shop she had just rented. It wasn't much, just a tiny space with peeling paint, a flickering overhead bulb, and barely enough room to fit a few racks of clothes. But to her, it was a palace. It was hers. She had made it through university without financial help from her parents, building her small fashion business while studying. Now, with her degree in hand and a little money saved from her hustle, it was time to take things to the next level. She breathed in deeply, staring at the sign she had just hung outside. Sophia Styles, fashion for every queen.
Born in gold, but I wanted more. Not just riches, but a dream to soar. Left my palace, stepped into the fight. No safety net, just my own light. They said the road would break me down. Told me I would fall, I would drown. But I held on through all the pain. Turned my losses into gain.
This was it. No more selling from her tiny apartment. No more late-night packaging orders on her floor. This was a real store. A new beginning. But success didn't come easily. At first, customers trickled in slowly. The rent was eating into her savings. Some days, she barely made enough to cover expenses. Competitors, bigger, more established fashion brands, seemed to overshadow her. Doubt crept in.
What if I fail?
Then, the first major setback hit. A supplier scammed her. She had sent almost all her money to an online vendor for a bulk clothing order, but the items never arrived. Her calls went unanswered. Her emails bounced back. She had been robbed. She sat in her empty store, staring at the receipt on her phone, feeling like the walls were closing in. Tears burned her eyes. She had fought so hard to get here, only to lose almost everything overnight. For the first time in years, she thought about giving up. She thought about calling her parents, admitting defeat, and asking for help. But then, she looked around her shop. She saw the racks she had built with her own hands, the customers she had slowly gained, the business she had created from scratch. She clenched her fists.
No. I won't let this be the end of my story.
She came up with a plan. Instead of giving up, she used what little inventory she had left and launched a pre-order sale on Instagram. She posted stunning pictures of models in the clothes she planned to sell, offering discounts for customers who paid in advance. It was risky. If the orders didn't come through, she would lose everything. But then, something incredible happened. Orders poured in. Customers trusted her brand and sent payments up front. Within a week, she had made twice the amount she lost. She found a new supplier, one she could trust, and restocked her store. And just like that, she bounced back. Word spread. People admired not just her clothes, but her resilience. Customers became loyal supporters, recommending her shop to friends and family. Business began to boom. She no longer feared failure. She had stared it in the face and survived. Standing in her store one evening, watching the sunset through the glass window, she smiled. This was just the beginning. Sophia's shop, once a tiny, dimly lit space, had transformed into something extraordinary. Her brand had grown beyond her wildest dreams. What started as a side hustle in university was now becoming a household name in the fashion industry. But the road to success was not without obstacles. With growing popularity came new challenges. Competition was fiercer than ever. Big brands, threatened by her rising success, slashed their prices to drive her out of business. Some even spread rumors that her designs were low-quality knockoffs. Sales dipped. Sophia felt the pressure. She sat in her office, staring at the numbers on her laptop. Profits were shrinking. Doubt gnawed at her. Is this how it ends? After coming this far? Then she remembered something her father once told her. A true entrepreneur doesn't fight battles, they create new lanes. And so, instead of playing by her competitors' rules, she changed the game. She launched a bold marketing campaign, luxury on a budget, proving that quality fashion could be affordable. She collaborated with influencers, ran giveaways, and introduced limited edition collections. The response was explosive. Customers flooded back. Sales skyrocketed. Her competitors were left scrambling. Soon, Sophia's brand was everywhere. From online platforms to fashion magazines, she was the name on everyone's lips. Celebrities started wearing her designs. Investors came knocking. She opened a second store, then a third. Then, the moment she had always dreamed of arrived. One evening, she received an invitation to the country's biggest fashion event, a show where only the most elite designers were invited to showcase their work. Sophia stood backstage, heart pounding as models walked the runway in her creations. The applause was deafening. Cameras flashed.
This is the rise of Queen.
She watched as industry giants, people she had once idolized, nodded in admiration. Tears welled in her eyes. She had done it. She had built her empire, not on wealth inherited from her parents, but on grit, determination, and faith. And now, as she stood at the top, she knew one thing for sure. She was just getting started. Sophia sat in the penthouse office of her multi-million-dollar fashion empire, staring out at the breathtaking skyline. The city that once seemed so unforgiving was now beneath her feet. She had done it. Not only was she the richest woman in the country, but she had also built something far greater than wealth, a legacy. But success came at a price. With fame and fortune came envy and betrayal. Competitors, once threatened by her rise, now resorted to stealing her designs, spreading false scandals, and even bribing her employees to leak business secrets. Sophia felt the weight of the world pressing down on her. The empire she built was under attack. One night, after receiving yet another threatening email from a rival company trying to bring her down, she closed her laptop, rubbed her temples, and let out a deep sigh. For the first time in years, she felt exhausted.
Is it worth it?
She wondered. The struggle, the fights, the endless battles to prove herself. She could walk away now and live comfortably for the rest of her life. But then she thought back to the girl she once was, the girl who fought to pay her own tuition, who refused to take a single dollar from her parents, who sold clothes in a tiny shop with nothing but a dream. Would that girl give up now? No. Sophia straightened her back, her fire reigniting. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for the people who believed in her, the young girls who saw her as proof that dreams could come true. She exposed the corruption trying to bring her down, fought back with stronger business strategies, and doubled her success. Her enemies faded into irrelevance, unable to keep up with her brilliance. Her story became legend. Schools invited her to give motivational speeches. Young entrepreneurs studied her journey. Magazines called her the woman who created her own destiny. One day, as she stood on a grand stage, addressing thousands of young women eager to follow in her footsteps, she smiled and spoke the words that defined her life.
I was born into wealth, but I wanted more. Not money, purpose. And that's what I fought for. It wasn't easy. There were moments I wanted to quit. But I remembered something: success isn't about where you come from. It's about what you're willing to do to get where you want to be.
Tears welled in her parents' eyes as they watched from the front row, their hearts swelling with pride. She had proven them wrong, not in a way that shamed them, but in a way that made them prouder than they had ever been. She had become everything she dreamed of and more. And as she walked off that stage, greeted by roaring applause, she knew one thing for certain: she was just getting started.
I rise, I shine, I fight, I climb. No silver spoon, just fire inside. Through the storms, through the night, I found my way, I built my life. No handouts, no easy way, just sweat and dreams that paved the way. Now I stand, now they see. This is the rise of a queen.